Alrighty, Fish Unfiltered, episode 67. Very, very excited to do this one with my co-host and good friend Isaac Azout. Isaac, what's up? I think this is like our second episode of the off season, but we have a very special guest. So, how you doing? And then we'll introduce him.
Doing great. Like you said, a very special guest, a big factor in Miami's second half performance last year. And like you said, Kevin, I'll let you introduce the young man.
Alrighty, we're here with Jonah Bride, first baseman. Played a little bit everywhere, kind of, for the Marlins in minor league baseball. Jonah, what's up? Very excited to have you on. And how's the off season treating you?
It's going good. Thanks for having me. I'm in Oklahoma right now, so ready to get to the Sunshine State and some warmer weather, and that's coming up really quick. So definitely really excited.
Alrighty, Isaac, you can take it away.
Well, yeah, Jordan, I guess let's start with I guess we can start with some Hall of Fame, or I'm sorry, with just how you became a Miami Marlin. Sort of right before pitchers and catchers and full squad reported last year, before spring training, you're traded from the A's to Miami. Just take us through your reaction and what you thought you were going to be playing for in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of did happen really quick, like right before spring. And so I actually had all my stuff set in Arizona and all my housing and all that. So, I mean, that was really the only stressful part. I think that the transition was awesome from day one, the communication and stuff. And then getting to spring training, it was definitely different because playing against like a lot of the guys that have been on the East Coast when I was on the West Coast. So I didn't really get to play against a lot of these guys. And so that was definitely a different part. But, I mean, made some good relationships really quick and was definitely welcomed very, very well. And I made some good buddies and continue to have those relationships. So I'm looking forward to the experience that last year brought and what's to come this year.
And you, in fact, actually made the Marlins opening day roster. I'm not sure if you had expected that, if they had told you that you were, in the running. Just take us to that moment when you were told that you will be breaking camp and heading down the 90-minute drive to Miami and being on the field on opening day.
Yeah, it's actually funny. I don't know if it's really known, but I was actually in Jacksonville, and then I drove to Jacksonville from Jupiter, and then got the call before our practice that day. And then, yeah, I just drove on down to Miami. But, I mean, first opening day, it was special. And I remember Skip sitting me down and being like, man, like, this is special. Enjoy it. And it was just that.
So it was like a little up and down for you going up to MLB, AAA. But a couple days before, you had been called up. I think Jazz had already been traded. Just talk about trade deadline. You're in there in Tampa, and it's just trade after trade, and you just have no clue, what this lineup is even going to look like with the amount of guys going out. Just what was the vibe in the clubhouse? Just talk about that day in general, because there was a lot of moves.
Yeah, it really was. And so it kind of started, and it's like you kind of filter in and out of the locker room, and everyone kind of knows what's going on. There's guys that have been traded. You're hearing rumors that more guys are going to go, and so it's like, say you're going to go get a workout in, but then you come right back in the locker room and everyone's like surrounding someone, or you walk by and someone's like, oh, he just got traded. So everyone's kind of just holding their breath, waiting. And then I remember in BP is when De La got traded to the Pirates. And I don't know if that was one of the last ones, but I vividly remember kind of seeing people hover towards him in the outfield. And you kind of think to yourself, like, oh, he probably just got traded. But, I mean, I just think that the clubhouse really stayed together really well. And we had a lot of different talks, front office and the Skip and all the coaching staff. I think that everyone stayed together really well. And I think the vibe was really good when guys got traded and everything, and just trusting the vision and what's to come.
I guess were you guys kind of like mentally prepared for that, knowing, the season hadn't gone your way? You knew that the Marlins would be one of the top sellers with the amount of pieces they had. Was it just like knowing maybe that's kind of why you guys were able to stay so together, knowing that was at one moment going to come?
I think that it kind of the way it had been presented, that it was going to maybe happen that way. And so like a guy, maybe like myself and some other guys that want to get their chance, like it's just kind of, here's your time and go get it. And so I think that a lot of people had that mentality, and that I think also helped. I mean, you got a lot of guys that are maybe unproven in the big leagues. And so here's your chance and go get it.
Yeah, and you talk about, getting your chance. You definitely got it. You played almost every game after that. And just talk about getting that opportunity and having success. I mean, you had a great second half, in the games you did play.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like I said, it's that mentality, um, and so just good people around, good staff, and good guys to lean on. I mean, I remember Berger kind of always telling me just throughout the year, like, man, your time's coming. When you get in there, just go do it. And so I think he was really helpful for me last year in the second half and getting to have some success.
Speaking of Berger, I have to ask because I guess how did you process when you found out that he was dealt to the Texas Rangers this offseason? Like you said, one of the better respected teammates on the club, and also his departure would seemingly give you a lot more playing time opportunities, given that he was playing a lot of first and third.
Yeah, I remember the night that it happened. It was actually pretty late.
Very late.
Yeah, there's a group chat of a few of us, and I'm not positive what he said, but I think it said "boys," dot dot dot, and I'm like,
No way.
yeah, like that's what it said. And so I mean, right away, I think that kind of was known that something had happened, and it was. I don't even remember what I said. I was just like, "What do you got?" Like, kind of knowing that that's what's going on. So I mean, like I said, he was awesome to me, and definitely appreciate the heck out of him. But I mean, excited for him to go to Texas, and I think that's a really good fit for him.
I
Yeah.
know. I know it's a business at the end of the day, but were you surprised that he was dealt?
Um, I mean, I didn't really know if he was or not. I mean, I think that kind of here, like we don't. There, my guys might get traded, but when I saw the text, I think that I guess it was already somewhat possible that when I saw the text, I knew kind of what it was. So I wouldn't say I was completely shocked by the news.
Right. Well, back to you on the field. I am curious because in 2024, like Kevin mentioned, you had a really great second half. But one inconsistency, I guess, was you were hitting starting pitching great. And then once that bullpen got involved, you struggled a little bit against relievers, I guess high leverage relievers as well, just almost half the OPS. Is there anything you can sort of attribute that to? Maybe just the better stuff in the back end of these bullpens, or I don't know how you'd take it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, someone sent me this like 20, 30 minutes before we came on, so I saw that and I actually had no idea. Um, that really did surprise me quite a bit, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, their stuff in the back end of the bullpen is definitely top tier, but I mean, some of these starters, I mean, same type thing. So um, before we came on here, I was kind of just sitting here thinking about how can I mean, it was good for me to see. It's like, how can I approach this bullpen guys better than more like the starters? Because I mean, the starter every day, yeah, I think that my preparation and like video and really diving into the percentages is definitely more so than the relievers. So I think that really made me think about how I need to have a much better preparation going in and facing these relievers. And I mean, as you face more and more of these guys the second time, and you kind of have seen them in the past, I think that will also help. But those numbers that are listed right here, those are definitely eye-opening for me, and I think that definitely need to take a look and dive into why I did struggle against the relievers so much.
Jonah, you were one of the more disciplined hitters on the team last season, chasing outside the strike zone, just how did you develop that skill to recognize, balls from strikes and get yourself into so many favorable counts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that as I kind of grew up, I wasn't always like the most powerful or anything, and so I had to kind of lean on the basics with staying within the strike zone, putting the ball in play, being a situational hitter. And so, I mean, as I've gotten older, definitely come into a little bit more power, but still definitely want to keep that side of my game is be a productive out. If you're gonna just productive at bat over and over, and try to definitely take that up in my game as much as I can.
Yeah, and just talk a little bit about Clayton McCullough, new manager, completely new staff. Just have you been able to talk to him or any of the staff? And I guess, were you familiar with any of the names that are now incoming to this new coaching staff? Maybe you had any ties to them or cross paths?
No, I have not really. I think I've played against some of them, like in the minors, or they were coaching when I was playing, stuff like that. But like actual ties, not really. But I have gotten to talk with a lot of them, and definitely bringing an exciting vibe and a lot of energy, and feels like every week or even a couple times a week I'm hearing from Clayton or heard from Carson today, Pedro. Had a Zoom call with the hitting coaches, so just picking their brains, kind of talking about the different things that I want to be working on this off season and what they see from me if they've gotten to dive in. So definitely picking their brains and sending video if it comes up, and definitely looking forward to continuing to get to know them and meeting everyone come spring training.
I guess with that coaching stuff, is there something new that they're telling you that maybe you hadn't heard from the last one in terms of maybe just your approach or just anything that you're doing differently?
I wouldn't say so. I think that it's good to hear too, because it's like we're not teaching one guy or everyone to do the exact same thing. We want to fit guys how they're gonna succeed together. And so I think that it's just like individually, definitely just gonna work with them. And I mean, yeah, we're gonna have an idea as a team how we're gonna approach pitchers and stuff. But I think it was good to hear that he's like, we're not gonna teach one move. Like, not everyone can do the exact same thing and look the same way. And so I think having the freedom with that and finding what you've been good at, what you've struggled with. I mean, obviously, like those relievers numbers, like that's something that we can really talk about and figure out how I want to improve those numbers, because obviously they need to be improved.
Jonah, last time we spoke, I think was in Toronto towards the end of the regular season. You had mentioned that one of the things you would like to work on, excuse me, is your defense, but particularly at first base. What in particular are you looking to improve over there at first, and if there's anything else that you've been working on this offseason on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's definitely important. I mean, playing defense, and so playing first base in the big leagues was, I mean, it was pretty new. And so in the minors, it's kind of like you go there, you play first base. It almost, I'm not gonna say it feels easy, but I mean, obviously when you're in the big leagues, everything speeds up much more. Like you have so much more. It just sped up a little bit at times, and so I'm just trying to be more comfortable over there. Um, Cleaning up like side to side and increasing the speed side to side and the explosiveness. And so the diet, like all those things, I think will help. And I'm looking forward to working with our new infield coach. So we've just kind of talked about being able to move around, and so yeah, I'm definitely focusing on defense, and then just the mobility and the agility stuff that comes with just being faster and being more athletic.
And going into this season, it's a little bit different than any other season for you, given you're out of minor league options and you're very likely to be on the opening day roster, barring any other moves. I'm curious, like, how different does that make your mindset? Going through the offseason, going to spring training, knowing that you're most likely going to be one of the regulars on the big league team.
Yeah, it definitely going through the off season and going through that grind, it just gives you a little bit more motivation. Like having a little taste of success last year, it's like, I mean, I want way more of it. I want to win as a team. And so I think that part mentally has definitely been helpful going through this off season, just having that success. And yeah, I mean, just showing up to spring training, meeting a lot of newer, younger guys that I really haven't played with. But just also sticking to the same thing, want to be consistent, want to be a good teammate, want to be someone for anyone to talk to. Not that I'm experienced or anything, but I mean, just definitely I've had guys that I've played with that I've been lucky to have, and I want to try to be someone like that for a younger guy that might not be accustomed to what kind of goes on. So
Yeah, I was just gonna touch on that. Just I think you look at Fangraphs and it's like Jesus Sanchez is the most with the most service time out of all the position players. You look at that and such a young team. Do you kind of feel, now that you've been in this organization for a full year, majors and minors, been along for a while, that maybe you could step into that type of a leadership role for this team?
yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that once Berger got traded, it's you kind of look around. And it's like we've got a group of guys that played together a lot last year, and who wants to take that role? It's like, yeah, absolutely, definitely want to be someone that can be leaned on. And I mean, yeah, like I said, I don't feel like some veteran or anything, but I'm open to talking and being a voice for anyone, and trying to lead by example for sure.
You did spend some time with the AAA ball club. I'm curious which of your teammates, former teammates, I should say, either on the mound or on the position player side, do you think deserve an opportunity up in the big leagues next, in your opinion?
Like someone that hasn't debuted yet.
Correct.
I mean, I feel like a lot of them debuted last year. I mean, I
A lot.
definitely, yeah. Troy's done well this winter. I mean, I have a little chat with him and Griffin, and we kind of cut up in there sometimes. So I mean, I think that um, he's had some great years put together and playing well in the Dominican Winter League. It's what it looks like to me, and so I'm sure that his time is coming, and it'll be exciting for him when that time does come.
And we can go sort of further back really quick before we talk about the Hall of Fame a little bit. Just take us through your draft, day, how it felt, just going through that sort of process. Obviously, you were a little bit of a late round pick, but still just getting that call knowing you were getting selected to play Major League Baseball after some college ball.
Yeah, it was actually, I mean, it's very vivid. I was in South Carolina at school, obviously, and we were going into our super regional week against Arkansas, and so we were having a practice, and we didn't have our phones, and so someone, if you were eligible or whatever, you would give your phone to one of the coaches, and so um, your coach like yell, Jonah just got picked, and so everyone like throughout the day, everyone kind of would jump on those people. So it was a pretty cool moment, like in the middle of practice, the middle of batting practice, to have everyone kind of jump around and be excited for, yeah, it's like you said, a dream come true to get that opportunity, and then just knew that was going to have to earn it every step of the way.
Would you say that your first career home run being off Garrett Cole was probably the highlight of your career so far?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool. People ask like, who's your best homer? It's like, I don't know, probably Garrett Cole. I mean, it's hard not to say him. So yeah, it's definitely a cool moment. But I mean, last second half last year was pretty cool to get out there and play every day, and yeah, looking forward to another big year in 2025.
Do you have any goals set for yourself, like any milestones you want to reach, something like that?
No, I don't think so. I think kind of what we've talked about, just consistency and being a good guy in the clubhouse, good teammate, and I mean that's kind of just pride myself around that, and I think everything else will work out. And I mean, looking forward to getting Sandy back this year and Yuri to be healthy. I'm not sure exactly when that is, but yeah, excited to really get in there and get some live at bats and getting the feeling of baseball again.
And really quick, Jonah, the elephant in the room is that this club, all the, I guess, quote unquote, unpopular moves that have been made this last trade deadline, this offseason, it's sort of well known. I guess amongst players have always been curious, when you're going to that clubhouse next year and you know that the team is really not expecting to be that competitive. How does that make, I guess, you and the other players feel knowing that, this is sort of a developmental year for the organization as a whole instead of really trying to go for it? How does that make the player feel? I'm curious.
I mean, I think it's really kind of what I talked about before with at the trade deadline. It's like guys looking for opportunity, like, all right, like here's your chance. And so, I mean, as a high level, like athlete, everyone's going to go out there every day and there's no excuses at the end of the day. And so I think that, I'm not sure the message exactly once we get to spring training, but I really think it'll be something like we're going to go out there and we're going to, play as hard as we can every single day. And, we're going to look back knowing that that's what happened. And I mean, it's all about effort and it's like just giving it your all and battling every day. And I think that we got a good group of guys, hungry guys to go and do just that.
All righty. I think before we wrap up, we'll quickly mention it. We're recording this just as the Hall of Fame stuff is coming out, so we're assuming Ichiro did make it. I mean, that was the most obvious one, but just talk a little, Jonah. Just talk about Ichiro, what made him so good, and any other guys that kind of stand out to you on the ballot that you think deserve a vote.
Yeah, Ichiro. I actually saw him in Seattle a few years ago, and we were out in BP, and I was like, "Who is that out there? Like that guy has a cannon, and he is just going like full on BP, and it was like early work. Like there wasn't many people out there. Like that's Ichiro. I was like, that's so cool. Like Ichiro, I've watched him my whole life and stuff, and so I just remember that in Seattle, seeing him was super cool. Looking at this list, it's Chase Utley. I always love watching him play. It's hard to say CC won't be a Hall of Famer.
No, Ichiro just got in, so
Yeah, Ichiro is unanimous, actually, which is really cool. He is the first unanimous position player to be voted in, which is cool.
Did they release the whole list, or is it
just him at the moment?
Oh, okay. No, I mean that's a pretty cool list of guys. I mean, I played an MLB show. I feel like my whole life, so playing with these throwback and the legend cards, like I can talk about all of them for sure.
Yeah, I think it's Ichiro and CC Sabathia have officially been inducted into they will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Those are the two new Hall of Famers. It's CC and Ichiro. Kudos to them. That's Ichiro was a great. I thought that was a really important one for each. Obviously, he spent some time with the Marlins. I'm sure he knew that, but yeah, those are the two inductees in 2025.
Awesome.
Alrighty, so I think we'll wrap it up here. Jonah, we really appreciate the time. Thank you much. Thank you so much for hopping on. And if you want to say anything to the fans that are watching this, excited for the 2025 Miami Marlins season.
No, yeah, thank you guys for having me on. And like I said, I'm really excited to get to Jupiter in a few weeks and look forward to seeing you guys, seeing the fans, and obviously the teammates. But I mean, based on the talks and the chats that we have going, everyone's really excited and. Like I said, hungry, bunch of group of guys, as well as the coaches that are ready to rock and have a good 2025.
Perfect. Alrighty, from Jonah, Isaac, and myself, we'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out and go fish.